And
take entrepreneur out?
No, you can take. No, you can leave that.
Okay.
Passion to paycheck.
Okay.
Whatever works.
I'll keep it fun then.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, start the stream. Here we go. 5 seconds.
And looking at you is good.
Hey everybody, Terry here, host of Success Beyond Beauty. I'm so excited. You guys know I'm always excited, right, about our guests. And today we have I'm sorry. Okay, lean back. Let's do that over.
Go ahead, start again.
This is a new side for me.
Oh, is it? You should have told me, Terry.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, exactly. I'm a mover.
Stand by, relax, go.
Hey everybody, Terry here. Super excited about my guest today. You guys know I'm always excited because I have just like the best guest, right? So today I have on the show none other than Erica De La Cruz. She's an Amazon best-selling author, speaker, motivator, serial entrepreneur. She's killing it. And guess what? She's here today.
Yay.
Let's go. Erica, thanks for
What's
coming on the show.
going on, Terry? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to
Yeah.
have you here. I've wanted to connect with you for some time.
For sure.
I think I actually saw your book in Barnes & Noble.
But that's a possibility.
So
if
serious.
it was bright pink and some boss babe had it in her hand, possibly. Yeah, so that's really, really fun to sort of hear and see the book places. I'm always like, oh, there it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, really great to connect, and I just love what the show is about from what I know. So.
Yeah, and we're going to go into it. And I think the work that you do is so important, especially today's movement. Like I saw in I think one of your videos about the girl boss, hashtag girl boss movement.
Yeah.
You know, but you're really killing it. And I think you've done a really, really great job. You know, I hear you talk about merging like self-development and like mainstream media.
Totally.
You've done a rock star job at that. So let's kind of talk about that. You know, who's Erica De La Cruz for people who don't know you?
Yeah,
and what's
for
your,
sure.
What's your thing?
My thing.
What's your thing?
Well, I mean, okay, we're gonna go meta.
Let's go.
If you want to know my thing, the real like purpose, like life's purpose, is exactly sort of what you just touched on, to bring vulnerable conversation to mainstream media to inspire the world.
Love it.
And that's the meta.
Okay.
The way I'm doing that really is, obviously we just mentioned the book, so Passionistas, Tips, Tales, and Untweetables from Women Pursuing Their Dreams.
Let's go.
Became a bestseller a couple years, now we're 2 years, I think we're 2 years now,
Okay.
which is crazy. So there was the book, and then obviously through my own career and personal branding standpoint, I do a lot of mindset theory, mindset philosophy on how to overcome these mental barriers that are just not real.
Yeah.
And my background has traditionally been inside of radio and television.
Okay.
And I found that in the industry, entertainment, it was very different, distinct from the industry in terms of publishing my book or when I'm going to speak somewhere. Inside of the personal development realm, everyone is very entrepreneurial, talking about our mindset. In the industry, we're talking a lot about execution. What's next? How do you look? Like, are you, just all of these, some superficial things.
Right.
And so I figured, like, how would I combine the two? And so I founded Passion to Paycheck, this
Love it.
event that we have annually now, and it's going to be so much more. We have some stuff in the works for the summer with a nice press outlet. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but it's exciting. So we'll be doing that this summer, and it's really just getting television personalities to talk vulnerably with our audience of boss babes, anyone who's their best selves for a living. So we have TV personalities, aspiring hosts, personal brands, bloggers. We all come together and hear from some of the most amazing television personalities, Liz Hernandez, Kelty Knight.
So good.
Just about their real stuff, the stuff you don't find on Instagram.
Yes.
Because Instagram, I mean, and I love it, I'm a fan.
Absolutely.
Can sometimes stop other people from really taking the journey they're meant to in this lifetime. Because they get overwhelmed, or they become, they get their dopamine for the day after scrolling for a certain amount of time, and they decide to procrastinate instead of take action on the things that matter.
Love it. Yeah. I think that's so good. First of all, I love your energy. I share that with you. And I love your voice. You have like that TV killer voice. And that's the one thing I just like looking at your interviews and when you're carpet and stuff, like her is just so distinct.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Rock star. So super good, man. And I definitely want to talk more about your Passion to Paychecks program. I think I'm going this year.
Oh, you have to go. You have to. Terry, you're the freaking like epitome of who should go, which is full of inspiration. Clearly, you are a personality and hosting your own show, so I think it's a fit.
Yeah, I just love the energy there. And can we get you towards the end of the show to do your little rap thing too? That's all you do? Yes, I saw it. I saw it.
No, oh no, no.
You gave it. I'm like, what?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
She has bars too?
Dude, you know what? It's so funny. I'm like a closet rapper. I swear, everyone's like, you're into this? I'm like, from second grade on, I was just like, whenever I'm feeling a certain way, I'm like, oh, you know, it's just like 1, 2, 3, we're on Focus TV. I'm with Terry. It's just you and me.
Look.
It's really bad and embarrassing, and I don't even care. I hone in on it now.
That's right. I love it.
I'm the girl embarrassing. I'm going to Coachella one night this weekend to see my man Eminem. So I'm a closet rapper for sure.
I love it. So let's talk about your journey though. Like, what took you from, like, what were you doing before in the self-development realm, and what led you here? Because you're talking about like, you know, going after your best selves, you know, taking your passions and turning it into like your day job. You're like, who was Erica before? Or were you always this inspired person, and then just one day you figured it out, like, aha, this is how I'm going to do it?
Yeah.
What was that journey?
There was it's very interesting. Thank you for asking. There was definitely a pivot point. I didn't like, you know, through school when I was growing up, traditionally, I was, I don't know, in terms of drive and like best self, do it all, like just take the risk, go for the goal. I was mediocre, you know, at best, and my personality hasn't changed. So like, I've always been me. The drive though, and like the best self, like for a living portion, really didn't take shape till I was around like 18 or 19. And essentially, and I talk about this often because I think it's so important, I was in my first year of college. The whole world is like, you know, 9 to 5, corporate job, society wants you to do these things. So even though I knew, okay, I want to go into entertainment, I didn't have this like fire lit under me. I felt like I had forever in a sense. And then after my first year of college, the economy crash happened, and I lost, like straight up, like I lost everything. And our belongings that I grew up with, they were sold to the state of California, and like basically repurposed at swap meets and flea markets across the state. So like my whole life shifted. And I'd be getting Facebook messages like, I think we see your picture for sale here. Is everything okay? Because they sell our frames and they don't freaking bother to take out the family photos. It's so embarrassing. But yeah, so there was a real collapse within the household and family that I was used to. And with that there were mental barriers developed between like my parents and being able to see that end of the tunnel for themselves, because they were entrepreneurs. They had a restaurant for 26 years. I watched them. And I just thought like, you know, I grew up taking $20 here and there out of the register. I'm not gonna lie, I was not like mowing the lawn for 5 hours. I was like stopping by our family's restaurant and like grabbing what I needed for the mall. So it was honestly the best thing that could have transpired. It's funny how like through rock bottom comes this beautiful opening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so because I had nothing at that time, and except for this like 93 Honda Accord. And I had made a lot of friends in college, so I was like, well, naturally I guess I'll just go back to college, because our home was foreclosed, the family split up, and I just had that summer to like work my butt off at Jamba Juice and drive my ass back to college. And it's weird. Everything changed. And I knew that I wasn't going to go back and try to put all the pieces together. So I somehow needed to access what my success looked like. And I knew, like, I started watching, oh man, The Secret popped into my lap one day. And I was so depressed, and I don't think I knew I was afterward. I was like, it's gonna be fine. I didn't lose everything, my family, whatever. But I really realized like I was sort of attracting this kind of mediocre, I was not mediocre, but I just wanted to be neutral, energy neutral, wanted to coast and not really feel anything.
Right.
But then through being that way, the only thing you can literally attract into your sphere are other things that are neutral, other things that are mediocre.
Yeah.
So after watching The Secret, I elevated my my energy, my vibration, my being, and I discovered gratitude, and I went and like wrote all my family, the friends that were really there for me when I lost everything.
I love it. Never heard that word, family.
Family. I love my family.
I love
and I just started like, it was crazy. It's like, there's no magic pill for anything. And I can really remember when I go, oh my God, I'm a point of attraction. Well, I want to attract extraordinary. So the only way to do that is to think extraordinarily. So
I love it. I love it. I love how you share it like through like that low point that kind of helped direct you to go somewhere. We had a good friend of mine. You ever heard of Forbes Riley?
Is he an athlete?
No, it's a woman.
Oh.
Well, I guess you don't. But, you know,
Okay,
quiz
so now,
of the day, quiz.
Right.
But no, Forbes. She's known as the $2.5 billion queen of infomercials.
Oh, wow.
But she does like a lot of transformational speaking. You know, she's tied into some of the same circle like Jack Canfield and all that stuff. But we had her on the show one day, and she talked about reverse blaming, and I thought that was so amazing.
So reverse blaming in terms of just like blaming yourself?
Not yourself, but reverse blaming and say, you know what? Yes, this happened to me, but what happened to me made me become this.
Oh yeah.
And I just thought it was so cool.
Oh, totally.
And for me, it was mind blowing because she had me to like blame something, you know, in my life.
Yep.
So she had me to pick my parents because I had to pay for my own way for like, you know, college and stuff like that. But she said, what did that do for you? So she had me to say like, you know, mom, dad, you know, I blame you for not paying for my college, and I had to do it. However, that taught me to be self-sufficient, to be an entrepreneur.
I love it.
It taught me these things. So kind of like what happened to you.
For sure.
You know, would you be the same person
No.
today?
I wouldn't, I mean, yeah, no, what was different is I was just constantly listening to other people as to what I should do next. And even, you know, my parents and peers. And then after that, I felt so, like you said, alone, which to people could be scary. But really, I blame it or attribute it, like you were saying, to me discovering that, like, all right, if I was the final say, what would I wake up and do? And I'm like, I would do something where I'm just myself, except I'm just like myself and I make money doing it. And I put all these thoughts together. I didn't even name what I wanted to do eventually, but I started just getting into the zone of like, I'd be myself, I'd be helping millions of people.
Love it.
I'd be sharing my story. I'd be on mainstream platforms because the content I accessed after that was it was on TV, it was the front of YouTube, it was the front page of you name the magazine. And the good that I found in it inspired me. So now, like a lot of our industry inside of, you know, Hollywood can be so gossip focused and like ridden with crap. And I'm like, can we please elevate the human psyche and talk about things that are not traditionally spoken about, things that are like vulnerable, like at Passion to Paycheck this past weekend, we had our keynote, Kelty, talking about mental illness, talking about how at her level on Entertainment Tonight, she can still endure a day where she's like, do I or don't I want to wake up? And just exploring like what it is to be human beings, you know?
I love it.
So,
I love it.
yeah.
So out of your work, like what is, I know we talked about anything, but as far as like, what do you want like women to, or your people who follow you like to take away? And since of course Success Beyond Beauty is really focusing and honing in on women, you know, what can women begin to take away from some of the things that you teach and that you coach and what you put out there?
Yeah, so I think the biggest, it's crazy, and I sort of just, I thought like, what would I want to see? What would I want to hear? What would I want to be a part of? And naturally, like this girl boss movement served up the people I was supposed to be talking to. So for all the boss babes like out there, anyone really honing in on their brand, I think the major takeaway is like, the daydream can be the dream job.
Love it.
And it's not easy, and it's not overnight, and it requires a tremendous amount of patience and belief in yourself. So many people want to wake up the next morning or have done something for a month and they want to exit. They're like, wasn't a good idea. And in some cases, it's okay to do that once you've evaluated, you know, the different ROI. Is it worth the investment of time? But for most things that you have a gut-wrenching feeling that you're meant to do, you are meant to do it until it sticks, until it works, until you shift and shaft and whatever it takes to get that message out into the world. Yeah. And then the other thing would be to-do lists. Like, I always say make a to-be list because your to-do list is not going to matter if you are being pessimistic, negative, like all that's going to come from that are actions that are related to your source. Because if your source is in an icky mood, icky moment, like I'll take Disney breaks. I'll go watch something in the middle of my workday, do something to elevate it, to elevate my being, my psyche, so that the things I produce would be in line with who I am that day. So really focus in on that as you're building what you want to in the world.
So good. So essentially becoming what you want to attract.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I do this exercise with my clients. I do some one-on-one coaching, not as much anymore, but it's like, okay, take me to the end. Doesn't matter what it looks like. How do you feel? Okay, show me. Oh, got it. And all of a sudden, like the lines and creases on their forehead relax, and all of a sudden they're just like in this state of euphoria. I go, boom, maintain that. Try and hold that for a minute of putting out into the world that this is who you are. And everything that's going to allow you to become that is then going to follow.
Love it, love it. And I want to talk about something too. I was watching one of your videos, and I think you were...
The rap one?
No, not the rap one. It was the one you were with your fiance. And you were talking about how you watched the commencement video with Jim Carrey.
Oh,
and he talked something about stop trying to please people and it's going to keep you invisible, or something like that.
Oh.
Can you
I
thought that was so powerful.
I think that was in London. I traditionally, I watch commencement speech ceremonies. It's my thing. When, like, even when I was just starting, I would put on commencement speech after commencement speech because these high-level, high-profile figures are invited in, celebrities, to impart wisdom onto this group going into the world. So it's going to be the best of the best. And yes, one of my favorites is Jim Carrey. And I think that the content of that, which maybe you can refresh my memory, was really other people.
Yeah, trying to please people. Like if he said something about, you know, and I'm glad you shared that. I thought that was so powerful. You know, about, you know, if you keep trying to do things to please other people or you need validation from other people, that's going to keep you invisible. Like, and just go out there and just like show up.
Oh my gosh, I know that quote. It's like I want it right now as it is. Yeah, Jim Carrey's quote. It's like pleasing other people, doing things the way you think it's going to land for them, the way that they need to hear it, the way they're going to perceive it best is literally going to keep you invisible. You are doing a menial task that is basically serving up your vision, like you're almost diluting it when you're thinking about how it's going to be processed by the outside world every step of your journey. Like it does nothing except keep you silent. And a lot of the times, because this is how it works, the things that we don't know, we don't know how things are going to be taken. Those things are the things that haven't been traditionally spoken about most. Those are the things and ideas that are innovative. The type of brainstorm, I'm certified in creative brainstorm facilitation, so I'm huge on this.
Oh, that's good.
That's the kind of brainstorm that in the world we need to have more of. And it's not going to happen unless people are taking more chances and risks in putting out opinions that might not land with everyone, and doing the stupid things. Like I put out videos and sometimes I'm like, oh, they're gonna, you know, I've gotten like, the haters are the best. It's like, you can't actually be that happy. Sit down, little girl. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, girl, you know how many haters Oprah has? I'm fine with you.
Right.
But like, the point is, when you align, I said, like, when you align with who you are, people are going to align with you.
Love it.
So that's the bottom line. And yeah, you'll stay invisible if you're constantly pandering to the other person's thought processes and living your life that's for everyone except for yours, like yourself.
And it's so easy to get ourselves back there, even the best of us, of like being motivated. Like my wife is like a good support for me. Because I, just like you, like I motivate so many people, but sometimes I can find myself like either trying to be a perfectionist in this, and she's like, baby, just go. Just go, you're overthinking. And I think sometimes that's why you can have a person who knows less than you, and they just have the passion,
Oh, 100%.
and they go and they get it done. But sometimes when we're like information junkies, and you're this expert, you're like, okay, I need this, and I need this, and I know I need this. I went to this conference, and I learned this, and I need this way.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes you see people who don't know half as what you know, and they just go.
Yep. 100%.
And they want to rock with it and just go.
Yeah. Someone doing something, someone less talented than you is going farther than you because they're going. Period.
So good.
Period.
Say that again. That's so good.
Someone less talented than you is going farther than you because they're going.
That's so good.
Right?
So just go.
And you're stopping, go.
I love it.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of the times, overachiever, it's like high achiever syndrome. We can almost stop ourselves because of perfectionism, because we're aware of the greatness that we're like, that our life contract is signed to be. So loved ones, like I get it. My fiance is just like, you don't need them to know the ins and outs exactly of what you're up to in your industry and have the numbers in front of them. You need someone who's so on board with what Terry's up to, so on board with Erica, that they're like, oh, we're not letting you be small, remember?
Yeah.
So like, cry, but what time you want to stop? Like,
that's right.
Get back into it.
Yeah. So let me ask you, so on that, I know we just talked about, my wife and then your fiance. How important is having like an accountability partner?
Huge.
In going after your dream, your passion?
It is I think it is the game changer. Like if you don't have anyone in your life to hold you accountable and you've become successful, like please tell me how. Because I think that is like, those are the roots that you're planting while you're trying to grow this huge thing, is like, who is counting on you? And that's why I think sharing is so important, because the more people you share with, the more people that you're creating what you want to create with people out in the world. So it's created. Yeah. And it can intimidate you because you're like, oh my God, now I'm held to this standard. But what it creates is these mini accountabilities throughout your conversations daily. And I think the loved one support is like, so I don't know how I would get through I don't know how I'd build what I'm out to build without the people in life. Like my business partner, before we did the book, he just had seen one of my videos, like an inspirational speech, and was like, you, like, well, who are you? And I'm like, who are you? And he co-produced Chicken Soup for the Entrepreneur's Soul with Jack Canfield. And like,
huge.
His belief in me every single day was like, whoa. And he's like, let's do a book and let's do it with 30 other boss babes. I would have never, without a team or someone to hold me accountable, really produced to that. And then likewise, we, to be a source, need to be sourced. And like, we need something to fuel ourselves before we can go fuel others. So someone who loves you unconditionally, like, if I need a good cry, it's like, where's my Australian? Like, where's my fiance? I need it right now because it's like the home base.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, look, I know we want to kind of push through this, so let me get a couple good questions for everybody. What are some principles and ideals you share that seem to have a great effect on your audience?
Ooh. Okay. So so the first one is sharing. Okay. The one that I just talked about. Yes. So one of the principles that I live by is share what you're up to, the people who are around you.
Love it.
Constantly. Okay. And the way you share it is the way you're creating it. So if you say I'm an aspiring anything, you are an aspiring something. If you say I'm trying to be, you are always going to be trying to be. So take out those in-between words and just say, I'm an actor and a screenwriter. Because have you written a screenplay? Have you acted in anything? Claim it, because no one's going to claim it for you. And then start sharing it.
So good.
And you'll hear it back to you through your community. And all of a sudden, their listening of you changes, and you get to live into that by being immersed in the community you taught who you were. Yeah.
So good. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. And let's do this too, because I know I brought this up before we started. I want to talk a little bit about fashion and hosting, because we talk. I can tell. I love it. Yay. And we talked about what you do as a coach, as a speaker, author. You're crushing it there. But people don't know you're also an amazing host. and
Yay.
you get a chance to host some of the most amazing events.
Awesome.
You've interviewed some amazing people, celebrities, influencers. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you've been able to fuse your love for fashion and hosting, talking,
It's crazy.
and bringing it all together. Like, so how has that impacted you, and how has that impacted what you teach?
Oh yeah, I think that in terms of impacting what I teach, I think I really grew an audience base from doing so much television and radio and interview type things, because my clientele is the mainstream boss babe who wants to get her hands into the things on the cover of Marie Claire magazine. And I love being in mainstream media and entertainment because it's I believe the most powerful way to impact the world the quickest, because it's in the spotlight. So one is attracting my ideal sort of client through my work. They're able to see that, resonate with it. I think I gained some level of credibility or something along those lines in the industry, having participated in it. And I think it's a little rare that this entrepreneurial skill set comes with the entertaining portion. So I think that also gives, sort of gave an edge to all of the things that I was up to. And then I just love it so much. So I live for, like, growing up, I would go into my mom's guest room and like put on her dresses and pretend I was going somewhere yummy and talking to people who I wanted to learn from and whose story I wanted to spotlight. And what I'm finding is the more celebrities that I've been able to connect with, the more comfortable I get and the more comfy I get, the deeper questions I get to ask. And so, like, it was just this year where I'm going full rogue. Like, my outlet and the channel gave me permission, and I was asking, like, what keeps you up at night to, you know, Star Trek, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, Heather Graham. Like, all of these incredible people I got to ask those vulnerable questions to.
Good stuff.
So it's through my hosting that I am just out to really shift the conversation within the celebrity sphere. And then doing that naturally, it's all a mindset. People are like, you can't monetize your brand unless you have X amount of followers and all of this weird stuff. I started monetizing, gaining styling partnerships like 3 years back when I was starting out with maybe like 1,000 followers or something.
Right.
It was here.
That's right.
It's all here. And like today I'm wearing Topshop and they're one of my partners, and it's just amazing getting to dream up what you want to wear, who you want to be, and who you want to talk to, and then sort of live into it. So
absolutely.
Makes up the brand thing.
I think that's so good what you said, though. Like, people, we get caught up and say, you know, we need X amount of followers on Instagram. Like, I had this really cool thing, my wife and I, we laughed. So I had a doctor's office reach out to me. They were Beverly Hills cleaning, dental, whatever business, whatever. But they reached out and said, we would give you a free teeth whitening for a mention. I'm like, me?
Hello,
like me?
yeah.
You know, so, you know, and I have like maybe 3,000, a little over 3,000 followers.
Totally.
You know, but I think like you said, being authentic and just showing up for the world and people like believing in your message.
Yeah.
People want to partner with the message, and they want to partner with authenticity.
Totally.
You know, so that's kind of, and I'm looking at what you're doing, you know, with your work, you know, being super authentic, love it, high five it. And lastly, because I know we have to wrap it up, after it's all said and done, you know, with your work, with your hosting, working with all these different clients, how does Erica De La Cruz want to be remembered?
Ooh, boom, mic drop. How does Erica De La Cruz, phone drop. How do I want to be remembered? I guess I want to be remembered, as having lifted the world. So in some way, shape, or form, when we came into contact and I was on this earth, I was so fueled inside of my source and so aligned that I left you a little better. And I'd love to look back and be able to say, you know, like, mainstream culture started shifting when Erica De La Cruz started saying yes to the things she knew she was called to do, because it takes a big frickin' person, and every person out in the world is called to something. And I'm proud that I'm saying yes, which is exciting. And I just want to build something that's going to leave people lifted and inspired, like years and decades after I go. So
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I had a chance to meet with somebody the other day, and they said that at the end of our obedience is the beginning of someone else's deliverance.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, I just got chills.
So huge.
Yeah.
So thank you again. High five it.
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much.
Guys, make sure you check out, oh, wrong camera. This camera. Guys, make sure you check out Erica De La Cruz, super rock star, author, Amazon best-selling author. Had to check myself.
Yay.
Of Passionistas. What's the subtitle?
Passionistas, tips, tales, and tweetables from women pursuing their dreams. You don't need to memorize that.
And she stopped by our show, guys. Make sure you also check out her program From Passion to
Paycheck.
Let's go. Erica, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much,
Double
Terry.
high five.
Love you. This is
Awesome.
fun. Oh my goodness.
We are family.
I love you. God, that's so
glad you
good.
came.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, you're just like speaking to my soul. I love it. Thank you so much.